tropical storm Cristobal is now again a tropical storm at 40-mile-per-hour winds, 1,000 millibar for the minimum central pressure, is it now moving due north at 13 mile per hour. Here's the system's current location right north of the Yucatan in Mexico, and is moving pretty much due north towards Louisiana at this point, as you can see from my arrow. Now, looking at the current track for the system, it is going to be moving rather fast towards Louisiana, making landfall around between 1 p.m. Sunday and 1 a.m. Monday. This system is expected to make a 60-mile-per-hour landfall, which is a strong tropical storm. But we still have the possibility for a Cat 1 hurricane. It's just going to depend on how much dry air does get in the center of that system, because there's a lot of dry air right here on the west side of the Gulf, which could really be getting into that center and really slow down that system and break it apart rather quickly. In terms of tropical storm warnings, we have tropical storm warnings for the east parts of the Yucatan. I'm not too sure why there isn't tropical storm warnings right there, but it is what it is. And we do have tropical storm warnings for parts of the Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Mississippi, and parts of Louisiana. Now, looking at the current wind field, the wind field has gotten pretty big from the old wind field that we got going on. But here's the old wind field. As you can see, it was rather small right here when it came in that first landfall, but now it has gotten much, 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 much bigger and is expected to grow around this size or even bigger. But right now, this system is pretty much like this big or something. And it's a one-sided system because the center of circulation is right here. So the center is here, and because of all that dry air coming in and trying to come in from the west side of that system, we are getting a one-sided storm with all the tropical storm force wind on the east side, which is why we're getting this tropical storm warnings only on one side of that cone. Looking at the wind or the rainfall potential, again, most of the rainfall will be on the east side of that system because of the dry air coming in from the back, spreading into Florida. Even the East Coast will get 2 to 4 inches of rain with this. And we're going to be seeing around 6 inches of rain around Mississippi and Louisiana with that system as it makes landfall. Now, if we do look at tropical tidbits for some of the latest information, most models are sticking with a tropical storm system. But looking at the satellite imagery, we do see that eye trying to clear up, maybe trying to form an eye, potentially in those last little frames. We do see that eye kind of trying to form, maybe, I think we're at 50 mile per hour maybe right now, maybe 45, because it's still a little bit disorganized. But you can see that convection trying to wrap around the center of circulation, maybe forming an eye. You can kind of see that hole right here trying to pop up, and with that moisture and stuff trying to wrap around the center, which is located around here now. So we do see, and again, all the convection is placed on the east side of that system with pretty much no clouds, no nothing on this side of the system. Now, this dry air is going to try to loop in the center, which could potentially really weaken that tropical storm. But we're just going to have to see if that will happen or if it will tight up its center. In terms of intensity guidance, again, most models do bring it to around 45 mile per hour at its peak, which is obviously wrong, or 45 knots to 50 knots, which is obviously maybe potentially wrong at this point, but we're just going to have to see if that does happen. The highest model brings it around 60 knot at this point, so that's around 65 mile per hour. National Hurricane Center brings it around like 55 knots, so that's like the National Hurricane Center track. But I just think this could potentially be a 60 to really low Cat 1, and then weakening down from there as it makes landfall. Now, looking at some of the models in terms of landfall, all agreeing in that Louisiana or Mississippi landfall. So that's pretty straight on with where this will make landfall. In terms of how strong the system is, GFS is not there yet, but it thinks it's a 996 in 6 hours, which it's rather possible at this point. But we'll see if when it does render out what landfall it does put it up. European model, let's see what this thing in terms of landfall. Let's see here. So in terms of landfall, European model goes with a 993, 992, a little bit weaker than yesterday's last model's landfall, which was a 990, 989. So a little bit of a weaker storm again because of that dry air, which is really going to be trying to come from the west side because of that upper level trough, which is kind of going like that. And then that upper level trough always have a lot of dry air and a lot of moisture getting swept in and a lot of dry air getting pushed down, which is really gonna try to come in that center of the system, which isn't good for the system itself. Let's see. So icon still showing that 994, 991 landfall. It does show it stall a little bit right before making landfall. So it does look like most models are going in like a 991 type of landfall. The nav jam again 994. WW3, just showing the waves highs. Again, all those high waves on the east side of the system. So again, I think 991, 992 landfall could be a very possibility with all those models are showing that. But I'm going to be starting a live stream 24/7 until landfall. So if you want to check that out, do make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell because that will be going live tonight. In terms of storm surge forecast graphic, we do have the storm surge warning throughout the west coast of Florida all the way up into Louisiana and the Florida Panhandle. The highest is going to be 3 to 5 feet in Louisiana and Mississippi. In terms of flash flooding potential, we are getting those slight flash flooding potential throughout Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida Panhandle, even going down to potentially the Tampa Bay area, which could be getting the strong rainfall. Now, looking at the intensity model, we do see that 90% chance of tropical storm force wind, and it's currently Louisiana is currently under around 40 to 50% chance of this tropical storm force winds. 50 knot wind, we do have a 20% chance for 50 knot wind, and then we have a 0% chance for hurricane wind probability. So this is what we do have going on at that moment. It is getting stronger. Try maybe to form an eye, but it's just only a tropical storm. But it is a little bit disorganized with most of it on the east side and the dry trying to sweep in.